Well, good Sunday morning, everybody. Well, you've got things to do and places to go, and in doing so, you've driven across town, and it might feel like Laredo is one big construction zone. You probably won't have to drive too far to see reflective vests and concrete barriers, all as the city builds a new path forward towards the future. So when does today's orange cones turn into tomorrow's open roads? Well, joining us this morning to discuss projects across Laredo District is TxDOT District Engineer Epi Gonzalez. He is joined by KGNS General Manager Luis Villarreal. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here. We're taking a little break from politics this morning.
Well,
so
we'll see. We may bring some in.
For a little news you can use, we've been wanting Epi to do this episode for quite some time. We've talked about it for the past few months already, and we're so glad that your schedule permitted you to join us today, because there is so much construction going on around Laredo, and you're going to give us the lowdown on what we can expect and on the timeline. So welcome this morning.
Thank you, Mindy. And again, I appreciate the opportunity, because anytime we talk about transportation, I think it's we all win, right? So thank you.
Yeah,
all right.
Absolutely.
So well, let's get going with the one that. So disclaimer: I am a passionate about your work, and I love all the projects that are going on. And I think that sometimes our community does not appreciate all of the work that has to go into this and how important it is for the development of everything that's happening here. And so, having said all that, let's talk about Loop 20, or, well, not Loop 20. Why do we call it Loop 20? It's not the loop and all the improvements going around the loop.
And we're also, you all sent us a lot of video, a lot of drone video, and we appreciate that, because we wanted to give our viewers a bird's eye view of what we're talking about while you're explaining, Epi. So yes, let's talk about this first one. This is the US 59. Did I see on the documents that it's now referred to as Highway 59, correct?
Correct. That is correct. So this is US 59, and it's basically converting the loop, like you said, Luis, into a what we call a freeway facility, right? Okay. So just some background information. You know, we define a freeway or a controlled access when we have frontage roads and we have main lanes and we have entrance and exit ramps where access to the main lanes is basically controlled, right? Okay. So US 59 is going to go from basically a conventional highway where we have intersections, signalized intersections, to a combination of frontage roads and main lanes with overpasses, to bypass those signalized intersections.
And for those of us that have trouble with the numbers and the highways and all that, we're talking about the intersection of from 35 all the way to Mangana Hine Road. Is that the extent of this?
So this particular project basically goes just a little bit south of Jackman, all the way to International. So it abuts
south of Jackman.
So yes, just south of Jackman, between Airport and Jackman, all the way to basically to the freeway section that we have at International and McPherson.
And the overpasses, if I read correctly, the overpasses were going to be the International, Shiloh, Del Mar, Jackman, and there was one more. University, thank you. So all of those major intersections are all going to have overpasses over them.
That is correct.
All right, so this is the most controversial question that I'm going to ask.
Okay.
So we're going to have, basically, with all the overpasses that are already in the south, and the overpass over McPherson, and coming International, and Del Mar, and University, and Jackman, what happens at the airport? Is there going to be a light still at the airport?
Okay, so that's a very, very good question. So the intent is at airport, we're also going to have a overpass. Okay. It's not part of this project because we're still working on acquiring some right of way from the Casablanca State Park and the golf course, and so we're working with Webb County and the city of Laredo and some of these things, right? But ultimately there will be an overpass at airport. However, when we finish the current project that we're in, we're essentially going to remove that traffic signal at the airport. So traffic, let's say, wanting to, if you're driving northbound and you want to access the airport,
Yes.
you're going to have to continue north
And
all the
double
way
back.
to Jackman, and then take that turnaround that we're going to construct as part of this project, and then take drive back south.
What about exiting the airport?
Well, exiting the airport, that's
You're gonna have to turn right?
Basically, you're going to turn right. If your intent is to go north, right from the airport, you're going to turn right. You're going to go south all the way to Saunders, take the turnaround, and then head north.
And then exit.
Okay.
So actually that because that would be the only intersection that signalized intersection in that stretch of highway.
Correct.
So basically all the traffic would be coming in to that unmetered, right? So we did some analysis, and actually it would save time for motorists to do that little detour to the turnarounds, to the intersections, than if we had the intersection there trying to,
It actually even makes sense now.
correct.
To
And
take
that is,
If you're going north and if you're coming out of the airport, it's faster to turn right and do the overpass than to wait for the light to turn left. Anyway.
absolutely, I
That's
agree with that.
okay.
So I'm glad you brought that up.
All right.
Let's talk about the next project. This is the State Highway 84, also referred to as the Achar-Ruthinger Road. There's a lot going on over there, and what can we expect with this one?
So the Achar Ruthinger, it's a new location highway, State Highway 84, as you correctly pointed it out. So it's going to connect I-35 at roughly mile marker 15 to Mines Road, FM 1472, right? So again, this is a brand new location highway. And we're actually, this project was let in May of 2024, and construction began in August, and we're actually ahead of schedule on that particular project.
So around mile 15 on 35, and where does it connect with affectionately called Mines Road?
So it's going to connect just south of 3338, Las Tiendas.
Okay, got you. All right.
Okay, no, I just wanted to point out that a lot of these projects, federally funded combined with state funding, are they all on time as well?
Correct. So that's a good question. Obviously, we have a lot of projects. Most of our projects, I think we do a relatively good job of making sure that we keep the contractor on time and on budget, right? Those are two of the metrics that I get evaluated on, right? I get graded on. So that we do put a lot of emphasis on on time and on budget. So
Yeah. That first one, the completion date was 2029, and then the one that we're talking about right now with the completion date of 2027. So
Correct.
we are on schedule for those, correct?
For both the US 59, and actually that was actually our biggest project that we've had here in Laredo District. Back in August of 23, when we let the project, it was $344 million. That's just the construction, right? That doesn't include everything, the engineering, the right-of-way acquisition, the utilities, and that sort of thing. That's just the construction portion. Wow. The SH-84 project is actually, if everything continues,
You might be a little ahead of schedule.
absolutely, we may be close to a year ahead of schedule.
Oh, wow.
Because
That's
it's
awesome.
a new location roadway, right?
Yeah, that's
So-
fantastic.
You don't have to deal with all the having to modify existing patterns and all that. You
Correct.
got the whole area to yourselves and you can work.
So yes,
It's just like remodeling a house or building a new one, right? It's like,
Right.
I was thinking exactly like that,
Very
that
good
analogy, right? That
Good
analogy. So thank you.
There's a lot going on over on Quatro Vientos as well. You've got a big project with Lomas del Sur. You're doing an overpass over there.
That is correct. So that project was let in November of 24. So we just recently started, I believe in July of last year. That's when we started construction. So we are going to provide an overpass at Lomas. We're also going to provide there is a median between the southbound and the northbound lanes of Quatro Ventos. So that median is getting removed, and we're going to put basically a concrete barrier.
Let me ask you about Quatro Vientos, because there seems to be this is going to sound really weird, but there seems to be some weirdness with trying to go, from one side, south side to the north side. You need to travel and then kind of go around. There's a lot of the ways that you could have gotten from one side to the other side are blocked off. Is that all because there's a bigger plan for the overall project down the line?
Absolutely. This is something relatively typical for these types of highways, right? When we kind of build them in phases, right? Back when Quatro Ventos was first developed, it was the plan was to eventually build overpasses. You can actually tell that because the road kind of opens up at some of these intersections, right? So that was the plan all along. And so it's no different, for example, than at I-35 or even Loop 20, right, where you're going to go on the frontage road and then you're going to take the turnarounds to go back the other direction, right? So it's same type of pattern.
Is this the access to the new sports facility?
Yeah, it's around this area.
It's around that same
It's
area.
all in that area.
Correct.
And so much growth over there. You've got subdivisions, you've got new schools opening over there. So that place is going to be, quite the place to be in the future, especially once all of this. And that project is also on schedule as well.
That is correct. I mean, and that particular project, I believe, is cost-wise is about a little bit under $50 million, but it's still a very important project for us. And again, we're trying to cover or address all the needs across the city and the county, right? Not just in one particular area. So.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Sounds good. Well, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're continuing our conversation on Laredo area projects, including what's ahead and what you can expect. Stay with us. Welcome back, everybody. We are continuing our conversation with TxDOT projects that are in the works right now. So thank you so much, Effie, for sticking around with us. We have so much more to talk about. One of the projects that you guys addressed also is the widening project taking place at 359. Tell us a little bit about that. Was there a need to widen 359?
Absolutely. State Highway 359 is a major artery coming into and out of the city, right? So we definitely needed to continue that expansion, out east towards Hebronville area, right? But anyway, so the interesting part of 359 is, about half of the project that we're building is continuing the same footprint that we have west of there, and then a portion of it becomes a divided highway. So a little bit further east becomes a 4-lane divided highway with a grassy median.
I was recently traveling through there on my way back, and there's also a lot of, and this probably has nothing to do with what you're doing, but there's a lot of electrical lines going up and towers and things along 359 to deliver energy.
Absolutely. Well, yes. So some of these things, obviously, may get impacted by our projects, but that just shows, I guess, the growing need for some of this infrastructure, right?
Yep.
So.
Wow. Well, let's talk a little bit about going back to Loop 20. A lot of effort, of course, you all have been on the northbound side. You're soon going to have to turn things over to the southbound side. Is that correct? So what's going to happen with traffic flow when that happens?
So thank you for that question. So yes, we have been kind of focusing our attention on building that northbound frontage road. And here in the summertime, we're going to be switching traffic to that. So northbound will be traveling on that newly constructed portion of the highway, and then the existing southbound is going to be. We're gonna direct the southbound traffic onto what is currently being used to go north, because we want to construct the southbound frontage road. And then once you complete the southbound frontage road, then that's when we're going to begin the overpass.
Then you do the overpass.
Correct.
So sides first.
Correct.
Then you go up.
Correct.
The UISD Processing Center, we were just talking during the commercial break, is going to go away.
Correct. So we did need a little bit of additional right of way for the loop project, the expansion project. So we worked closely with the UISD administration, and there is actually a new facility, and I think it's getting pretty close. Yes, right off of Clark, and it's getting pretty close to being complete. So
yeah. Okay, so that building's going to go by.
So that building's going to go away, and then there's the adjacent building too that eventually is going to get.
The Armory is right there too. That one seems as if it was built enough back, but it's not. It has to be relocated.
So we're part of the project would be acquiring some of the parking. So one of the things that I guess the building would not have sufficient parking, so they're getting relocated, and they're actually also working on that new facility, and it's out on Pinto Valle and FM 1472.
Let's
Talk about
go to a
future.
couple of future things,
Yeah.
and future. I don't know what that means, but
How much into the future?
how much into the future?
Yeah.
But the Milo
The
interchange.
Milo interchange.
Yeah, that's what it's
you've got
called,
some
right?
work
Yeah, correct.
Okay,
planned
so
for that area.
So yes, we this summer actually, June, we're going to be letting a project to construct the last 3 remaining direct connectors.
All right, and that's what we're looking at right now.
Correct.
And I was asking you earlier about that lonely column that sits there. If you're coming south on 35 and trying to go east, there's one lonely column that was put there, and I always thought that it was an accident. But you're saying that it wasn't an accident. It was supposed to be there.
We do make our fair share of accidents and things like that, but this one, I can assure you, this was planned, right? Because we didn't want to impact traffic more than we had to.
Might as well get it done while
what's
you were
going to
there.
happen? Yeah, let's tell our viewers what is a connector, direct connector, for those who don't know the TxDOT lingo.
Sure. So basically, as you've seen there in the video, right? What we refer to as direct connector is nothing more than just a bridge that allows us to bypass the intersection and without stopping, going from I-35 to I-69 or vice versa.
So let me see if I can translate. So if you're coming on the loop and you want to go to
South.
San Antonio,
Okay.
right now you have to exit, right?
Correct.
And then get to a light and then turn right and access 35.
Yeah.
Correct.
You will eventually, when this is completed, you'll be on the highway, on the loop, over the McPherson thing, and then you'll keep going and just take a little right and merge onto 35.
Nice.
And when you're
Okay.
coming back from San Antonio, and if you want to get on the loop to go to HEB or whatever,
Hit North Laredo.
you don't have to exit 35. You'll be able to just take a little turn around or little direct connect onto the loop.
So
That's
Luis, we
nice.
are hiring in case.
If you need people to, I can help you translate the project.
We're
but yeah.
always hiring, right? So,
So
thank
these
you.
let's talk about these 3 that you're doing. These are future projects. So how far into the future?
So the project is going to get let in June. So construction probably will start sometime, maybe 2 to 3 months after that, and then the project has a construction schedule of approximately 2 years, maybe a little bit or more, like 26 months, if I remember correctly. So here, by let's say fall of 2028, those direct connectors would be completed, and possibly sooner. But usually our construction schedules, our construction
2028.
schedules
2 years.
are usually a little bit conservative, right?
Good,
So,
good.
I was just going to say.
I was
Yeah.
going to jump to Uniroyal. But
Yeah, no. Let's talk Uniroyal, because that's $295 million. That's not a small chunk of change.
No, that's a major project. That's a huge project for us. So, again, for this particular project, we're going to extend the 6 lanes of I-35, the main lanes, right? Right there before Uniroyal, that's where the lanes go from. If you're traveling north, it goes from 3 to 2, right? And so we're going to extend the footprint of the 6 lanes on I-35 main lanes. We're also going to reconstruct the entire bridge there at Uniroyal. Right now, it doesn't. It's very narrow.
It's not conducive to
Correct.
turns.
Doesn't allow for turnarounds and those type of things, right? And we're also going to construct the overpass at Achar, where Achar connects to I-35. We're going to construct an overpass to go over 35.
That's all part of this project.
That is part of this project, and that particular project goes to letting next month. So,
Wow.
so next month, by the first week of March, we'll know who the low bidder or the contractor is going to be for that particular
Who wins the
project.
bid?
What is, and we could probably do an entire show on what I'm about to ask you. 15,000, 20,000, the number of trucks that we cross through here on a daily basis, give or take, depending on who you listen to. We have all this infrastructure that is being built, and bridges and roads around here, but anything going north, bottlenecks at the checkpoint. What, if anything, do you have to do with the expansion of that axis? How can we solve those problems that we have there? And is there anything on your plate that can address that? I know there are a lot of complicated issues around domain and things of that nature, but what is your...
Sure. This, it's actually very interesting because yesterday we're having a meeting with CBP and we're talking precisely about that project. So we do recognize that there is an issue there, with a checkpoint at mile marker 29, Charlie, we'll refer to as Charlie 29, right? So the intent, Luis and Mindy, is to add a separate lanes for trucks and have the passenger vehicles continue northbound. Because right now the issue is the trucks basically occupy both lanes, and then it kind of blocks the passenger vehicles from getting to the checkpoint, right? So I know based on conversations that we've had with CBP, they're also looking at expanding that facility, and we're trying to make sure that what we're proposing is going to fit with their long-term plan for that facility, right? So there is a project. So we currently have a consultant working on that project. It is a project that's funded for construction, and right now we have a scheduled for a 2030 letting. So in about 4 years, 4.5 years more or less, if everything continues on the track that it is, we should be able to see some construction activities out
All right.
there.
Well,
So-
like I said, we can have a whole discussion about that little project there,
Yes.
but
Abby, you wanted to mention real quickly to our viewers about getting involved in transportation. How can they do that?
So absolutely, thank you for that reminder. So our projects, we started the conversation early, right? We have a combination of federal, state, local funding, right? And so part of our process is to do public involvement, right? So we have public meetings, we have public hearings, and we don't just do that because we're required to do that. We
you
really
genuinely
wanna,
need
we
the
really want to get
input.
the feedback from the people that are using
Impacted.
those facilities and impacted, right? So we really want to encourage folks to get engaged, get involved with the community, and we definitely want to hear their comments, right? And so I really do appreciate that, because a lot of times we hear complaints of when construction starts, but the planning phase typically started 5, 10, 15 years in
Right.
advance,
Wow.
right? And that's when we want to hear those comments, because
Right.
that's when we can actually do something about that, right?
Got it. Thank you so much, Epi. We appreciate it. We're going to take another quick break. When we come back, it's the one thing our panelists cannot stop thinking about. Stay with us. Welcome back, everybody. It's the one thing our panelists cannot stop thinking about. We're going to start with Epi.
Thank you. So one of the things that I also want to take this opportunity is just to remind everybody, right? At TxDOT, everything, our number one priority is safety, right? So wanted to remind folks that, we have this campaign, End the Streak, and since November 7th, 2000, that was the last day that we didn't have a fatality on our roadways.
Wow.
Since then, over 91,000 people have been killed.
Let's end the streak.
On our roadways, right? So
Yes.
it's very important that we do everything we can, right? Wear a seatbelt, follow the
Yep.
follow the law, drive to your conditions, those type of things, right? So
Absolutely.
Well, guess what? We got
Today.
football today, so join us. Make sure you watch it right here on NBC. And let's see who wins.
I don't know. Predictions.
Oh, I think Seattle's going to win. I don't know that I'm rooting for Seattle, but I think Seattle's
But
going to
you
take
think
it.
so? Okay.
I think Seattle's going to take it.
Yeah, I think the commercials are going to win, but okay.
Yeah, definitely.
And my one thing, I just want to thank LULAC and all the people who bought tickets and tables. They were able to raise $28,000 that evening for scholarships for high school students. So thank you to everybody who bought a ticket, bought a table, went out there. And of course, it was all for such a wonderful cause. And it was such a great event seeing so many people out there. It was a pretty packed evening. We all had a blast out there.
Yep,
And thank
it
you
was
LULAC
fun.
very much. Yep. That does it for this episode of Beyond the Headlines.
Go
But make
long.
sure to join us next Sunday for another episode. Have a fantastic Sunday today.